What's up guys, my name is Ace, and the Blitzkrieg event is now live in CoD WW2, and this one came with a pretty big shocker. We had 5 new guns and a new melee weapon added all in one day. This absolutely surprised me. I knew there were 5 weapons coming, plus a baseball bat. I knew this was coming, I just didn't think it was coming all in one day. This is absolutely insane. So today, what we're going to be doing is going over exactly how much these weapons are going to be costing through armory credits, if you want to get them through the collections, as well as just some of the very basic stats. Keep in mind, of course, I will be doing individual gun guides like I've done with all of the other weapons in the game. I'll be doing that for each one of these weapons as the weeks go by, but I am going to be waiting for the hard stats to come out for those, so hopefully we'll have those within the next several days. Until then, let's start going through the list here. We got 3 new rifles, a new SMG, and a new sniper rifle, as well as the melee weapon, which like I said is a baseball bat. Starting it off with the first rifle, this is the Type 5. Now the Type 5 collection isn't actually a part of the Blitzkrieg event. This was added to the normal collections in the game. So if you guys were a little bit confused there, don't worry, I was as well. When I first saw this, I saw that only a few of the guns were in the Blitzkrieg collections, and I was really worried that this meant that these were supply drop only, or at least some of these guns were going to be supply drop only. Don't worry, there are collections available for these, and these collections are in the regular collection area. So if you scroll down there, you will see the Type 5 collection. This one, assuming you have none of the items within that collection, it will cost you a total of 15,800 armory credits, and it's a semi-auto rifle that's very similar to the SVT-40. It looks like it's practically identical to the SVT-40 in a lot of ways, although we'll see when the hard stats officially come out. Based on my hand testing, the rate of fire of this is roughly 240 rounds per minute, and it's going to be a 2 to 3 shot kill. I really don't think this gun is going to stand out in too many ways. I like the iron sights on it, I like the feel of it, and I'm sure it's going to be very usable, but based on my initial testing so far, it might not really compete too well versus the other semi-autos in the game. Moving on to the next rifle, this is the M2 Carbine, and with this one, once again, the collection is not with the Blitzkrieg event, it's in the normal collection area. This one costs a little bit more in the armory credit department at 21,900 armory credits. And with this one, it's a fully automatic rifle with a rate of fire of roughly 438 rounds per minute, and it's going to be a 3 to 4 shot kill. Based on my initial testing, this is an improved version of the FG42. It's got a slightly faster fire rate than the FG42, it's got very similar accuracy properties to the FG42, and also it takes the same number of shots to kill. So I think this gun is actually going to be quite popular in the game. Next up in the rifle category, we have something very special. This is the ITRA Burst, and this is actually a 4-round burst rifle, and it's somewhat similar to the M8 that we've seen in previous Call of Duty games. With this one, keep in mind the hand testing is very difficult, so this isn't necessarily going to be nearly as accurate as the stats that I have for the full auto weapons, but your rate of fire within each burst is going to be roughly 980 rounds per minute, with a 175 millisecond delay between your bursts. Now, since there's nothing else in the game to compare it to, and it's really difficult to visualize that rate of fire by just looking at the numbers, I'll just play a little clip here so you guys can see just how fast it can fire. This is as fast as you can possibly pull a trigger, and this is what it looks like. As you can see, it has a very respectable fire rate for a 4-round burst rifle. However, it looks like, based on my initial testing, it's going to take a minimum of 4 shots to get a kill, which means you have to be very precise with this. It doesn't look like it's going to be very forgiving by any means, and once you stretch out to longer ranges, it looks like it's going to take 5 shots to kill, and therefore you'll never be able to one-burst those people at the extremely long ranges, at least without advanced rifling. With this one, the collection is in the Blitzkrieg tab, so you have to actually tab over in the collection section over to Blitzkrieg, and you'll see the collection there. This is the most expensive one that was added. Assuming you don't have any of the items in that collection, it's going to cost you a total of 27,775 armory credits. Next, we had one SMG that was added to the game, and this is the Sterling. Once again, this collection is in the Blitzkrieg event area, so you have to go to the Blitzkrieg event tab, and with this one, it will cost a total of 23,925 armory credits. Based on my initial testing, this gun is nearly identical to the Grease gun. It has pretty similar recoil properties, although I would say it's probably a little bit less accurate based on my initial tests. It takes 3 to 5 shots to kill, and it looks like it has pretty much an identical rate of fire compared to the Grease gun. So based on my initial tests, it seems to be pretty much a reskin of the Grease gun with maybe a couple different stats that are going to end up being different. But so far, if you like the Grease gun, you're probably going to like the Sterling. And finally, at least for the guns that were added with this, we have a brand new sniper rifle, and this is the Type 38. Now, once again, the collection for the Type 38 is found in the normal collection area. It's not in the Blitzkrieg tab. And with this one, if you wanted to buy it with armory credits, it's going to cost you a total of 20,350 armory credits. Our rate of fire looks to be right around 50 rounds per minute, and one of the most important stats is our aim down sight time. This seems to be pretty much right in line with the Lee-Enfield, so it is a little bit faster than the Kar 98K as well as the M1903 Springfield, and it looks like it's probably going to end up being one of the new quick-scoping sniper rifles. I think people are going to like this quite a bit, although you'll likely have to be quite accurate with this as well. I didn't do any detailed tests on exactly where the one-hit kill areas are. My guess is it's going to be upper chest, neck, and head, just like the Lee-Enfield, but we'll have to wait and see how that one plays out. Now finally, we have a melee weapon that was added, and this one is a baseball bat. If you wanted to get this through the collections, this one is in the Blitzkrieg tab. It's going to cost you 13,975 armory credits, and there's really not too much to say about it, although this is what the heroic one looks like. I happened to get lucky and get this out of a supply drop since I saved a ton of supply drops for this event. And that's it. That's all of the weapons that have been added with this event. Like I said at the beginning, this was a huge surprise, and my thoughts on this, I feel like it's actually a little bit too much at once. If you were to add up the amount of armory credits it takes just to get the guns, not including the baseball bat here, but just the guns themselves, it would cost you almost 110,000 armory credits to get them up front. And I'm sure there's some people like myself that actually had that many armory credits saved up, because we play the game a lot and we only spend those armory credits on weapons. But for most players out there, most casual players at least, that is completely overwhelming. That is way too much to be added at once, in my opinion. Now, the individual cost of these weapons for armory credits, which is right around 20 to up to 27,000 armory credits, that's somewhat reasonable in my mind. It's just a little bit too crazy when you have all of these added at once. On the bright side, it's not going to be a limited time thing for the ones that are in the regular collections, not the Blitzkrieg tab, so you have as much time as you want to complete those collections and get those weapons. But for the ITRA Burst, as well as the Sterling and the baseball bat, I guess I'll throw in there as well, you do have to complete these collections before this event ends if you want to make sure you get that variant out of that collection. So personally, I would have preferred it if they added 2 new guns as well as the new melee weapon today, and then like a couple weeks down the road add the other 3. I think if they would have spread it out a little bit like that, it would have been better and a little bit less overwhelming. But that's just my opinion. At the end of the day, I ended up getting extremely lucky. I saved up over 100 supply drops over the past, I don't know, month and a half or so. I've just been saving every single drop I earn, as well as my weapon bribes and everything like that. And I got pretty lucky. I ended up getting almost all of these weapons out of supply drops without spending a single penny, by the way. This is just the ones that I've earned in game. And this really goes to show that you should be saving up those supply drops in between events. Try and have that self-control, and it really pays off when these events drop. And with that, I'd like to know in the comment section below, what do you guys think of this? First off, what do you think of them adding 5 new weapons all at once, or 5 new guns all at once, as well as a melee weapon? And based on what you can see in this video, as well as maybe your experience, assuming you have some experience with these guns, which is your favorite one that's been added so far? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.